real pain is gone. I mean, she's having a hard time swallowing still, of course, but they say that's just real hard to get over, you know, just.
Probably, especially at her age,
Mhm.
where smaller kids just zoom right through it.
Say something that might work on.
Yep.
High school, I haven't really caught up with it too much over the years, but I found it.
Everybody ready?
Mhm.
The Middlesex County School Board for November the 8th is now called to order. The meeting is called to order. Is there a motion to go into closed session? Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right.
I did not.
The chair will entertain a motion to go out of closed session. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Pursuant to the Code of Virginia, the board discussed personnel matters, legal matters during closed session. Matters discussed in closed session have been added to the consent agenda, and other parts of the agenda as action and information items. When members of the board certified that only lawful matters were discussed in closed session, please answer by roll call.
Dr. Shores,
Yes.
Mr. Kara,
Yes.
Mrs. Sophie,
Yes.
Mr. Goforth,
Yes, ma'am.
Will you please stand for the pledge of allegiance? I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dr. Smith.
Yes, recognitions. We have a few this evening. And first I want to start off because it is National School Psychology Week. We have our school psychologist, Leslie Bell Stanton. I'm going to ask her to stand, which I know you probably can't see her on the YouTube channel, but we are just, first of all, I want to recognize Ms. Bell Stanton for anyone who's not seen her or had the opportunity to meet her yet. We're thrilled to have a school psychologist with us. Those of you who've been here may remember that it's been 4 years that we've been without a school psychologist and making that work. So not only are we thankful to have Ms. Bell Stanton with us, but we're excited about the experience she brings to the table for us in working with our students and working with our families. And so this is a thank you to you for making the decision to come be a part of our Middlesex team. You're welcome to say anything if you wanted to, but I don't want to put you on the spot saying anything.
Hey. Very happy, really enjoying it. Everybody's been nice.
Yes.
Good.
Basically worked out 2 hour drive every day.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. All right, next I also have actually school board recognitions. And so I think the way I will handle this is because I have certificates and I have pins. I will do this from here and I will bring them to you so we're not moving around the stage and getting tangled in some of the cords. But these are from the Virginia School Board Association, and they are the Academy Awards and pins to our members. And that's not just our school board members just don't participate in school board meetings, but there are many other conferences and webinars and events that they do participate in. They continue to keep up to date on educational laws and policies and practices. And our members are get recognized for the amount of time that they spend in all of these additional assignments that they have as a member. And so I will start with the, let's see, Certificate of Achievement. And we have 2 of our members receiving that, and that is Mr. Harrow and Mr. Goforth. I will fall over towards an eye. Move around. Also, the Sojak will help me go that way. Certificate of Excellence is for Mr. Reed. And then we have a Certificate of Honor for Dr. Shores. And last but not least, for our chairperson, Ms. Sojak, is the Certificate of Distinction. So thank you all for everything you do for Middlesex County Public Schools.
We, as everyone knows, just had an election and we have 2 new school board members that I believe are in the audience tonight who will be replacing our beloved Mr. Goforth and Dr. Shores. I'd like to recognize Ms. Burnett and Ms. I'm getting ready to say Allenberg. Ms. Gertrude. See, it's bad when you teach these people and then they come. So if you could stand. Thanks for being here. All right, tonight we have educational highlights. We love to see the kids back in the audience. It's wonderful. Pass that.
Good evening. We have some very excited sixth graders here to present their project-based assessments they've been working on with Mrs. Jelensky. And I thank Mrs. Jelensky for coming out tonight. She and Miss Marr are sixth grade history teachers. And like I said, they've been putting a lot of work into these project-based assessments. And also parents, thank you all for coming out on a Monday night and bringing your children. We appreciate that. So Miss J, I'm going to turn it over to you.
All right. So the project that we did is one we've actually been working on that we've done for many years. This was our first project-based assessment that we ever created in sixth grade. It's been through a lot of revision and I'm really excited about what was created this time. I think, you know, with all those revisions and everything, the kids really did a great job. They were able to really excel with it. And I'm super proud of all their hard work. And not just the friends who are here with me tonight, but all my kids really put a lot of effort into this project. With that being said, when I asked students to come out tonight, I had 15 volunteers who were excited and wanted to share, but because of volleyball and baseball and other activities, they were unable to make it. So I really do appreciate my friends who are here with me tonight. But this project was, we learned about the 8 geographical regions of North America. After we learned all that, they then had to pick a region and create a travel brochure. They knew that their purpose was to persuade and that their audience was, you know, families and tourists. The amount of creativity, their ability to summarize information and put it into their own words, and using that persuasive tone to encourage people to come here was extremely impressive. Some of these look professionally made. Like I was shocked. I have some extras out in the foyer too. When you leave, please check them out. These kids have worked very hard. So each one specialized in a region. They had to include a historical attraction, something fun, a natural attraction, a water feature. What am I missing, friend? And a national or state park. And so then they created their brochures. They did the research and then created their brochures. So they're ready to share? Yeah, come on, Miss Hannah. The first one is going to be Miss Hannah Kaler. Then we have Miss Skyla Schaefer, Melody Jones, Layla Baylor, and Nathaniel Williams. So I'm going to let them take over.
So I did the Appalachian Highlands, but I chose a state, which is Tennessee. The attractions I did was Dollywood. It's named after the famous Dolly Parton. There are over 3 million people going there per year. And if you want to know about Tennessee, Tennessee is a beautiful place. There's a lot to see and do. Here is something you can do in Tennessee. You can go to Craghead Caverns, the largest underground lake in America. You can take a 90-minute tour, and the Cherokees Native Americans, this lake was very special to them. Now that's cool. History of Tennessee. The Wynwood State Historic Site. It served as a mineral springs resort and has a storied history throughout the centuries under the Winnie family, who was related by marriage to the nearby Winchester family at Cragfront State Historic Site. Tennessee National Park, the Great Smoky Mountains. This is a beautiful place with mountains, rivers, waterfalls, and hiking trails.
Very good.
I did mine about the coastal range. And I think the thing that I'm most proud of about it is none of the writing, but on the front, I all those individual little dots I put there myself, and that took a very long time. So I think the one of the attractions that I put in there that interested me the most was the Henry Miller Memorial Library in California. I don't know much about Henry Miller, but from the pictures and the things I read about, it sounds really cool. It's a library, and like there are books on trees, and it's also got art that you can do. And I thought it was really cool. And the only thing that I put on the back was a map. It's only a map of California because almost all of the things that I put on here were from California, except for one, which was in Washington.
I can see it from here. It looks very nice. Yes.
Very good.
Thank you.
So for my brochure, I did the Rocky Mountains, and one of my favorite attractions on here is the Grand Prismatic Spring. It's like a bunch of different colors. It's yellow, green, blue, and it's because of these different species of thermophile that's in the spring, and those are like from the heat and stuff like that, so it changes the colors. And then there's also South Pass City, and the Oregon Trail passes through the city. There's the Alice Lake. It's in Idaho, and there's like paddle sport rentals. There's restaurants you can go to. There's animals there and stuff. Glacier National Park. There's different animals and stuff like that, like grizzly bears, mountain goats. There's Canada lynx. Glacier National Park. There's camping, cycling, hike trails, and then you can also see the Northern Lights from here, which I thought was pretty cool. In the Museum of the Rockies, there's paleontological collections from like different dinosaur bones and stuff like that that's there. There's archaeology, planetarium shows, archaeology. There's activities you can do with like kids and stuff like that. There's antiques, and some states in the Rockies are Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, Utah, and Colorado, New Mexico. So it's a pretty big region. And the Rocky Mountains, they stretch all the way from Canada to central New Mexico, which I thought was pretty cool.
Very good.
I did the Appalachian Highlands because I really like the mountains. And one cool attraction that I did was the Hershey Park because it is a really cool amusement park and you can make your own chocolate bars, and it's in Pennsylvania. And before it was turned into an amusement park, it was a picnic spot. And another state park was Babcock State Park. And you can ride on ATV rides, you can do aerial tours, and it's in West Virginia. And the hours are from 6 to 10. And a place you can eat near Babcock State Park is 304 with 4.5-star reviews. And an interesting fact is that it is 4,127 acres throughout the whole thing. And I also chose the Metropolian Museum of Art because it has many interesting pieces of art, and the hours are 10 a.m. through 5 p.m. and it's in New York. And an interesting fact about that is that it's the largest museum in the US. And a major body of water in my region is the Deerfield River. It runs through southern Vermont, northwestern Massachusetts, all the way to Connecticut River. And you can go whitewater rafting there. And an interesting fact is that it is 75.8 miles long.
Very good.
The geographical region that I have chose is the Basin and Range.
Basin and Range has many attractions, but my favorite one that I have chose is named the Tree of Utah. The height is 27 meters tall, which I think is very tall. It was built by a famous architect named Carl Moman, and it was built in 1986. Another place in the Basin and Range is the Grand Canyon, which has amazing wire walking and bungee jumping, but also gorgeous skywalks. They also have great food. Here's the top three: the North Ridge of Nevada City, the Tap and Bar, and Lefty's Grill. For hotels, they have many hotels, like the National Exchange Hotel and the Broad Street Inn. They also have many animals, like birds, bighorn sheep, antelopes, deer, and fish. The Basin and Range is located right off of the coastal range.
Very good.
As you can see, they've been working hard. They work on their research skills and also their publishing skills as they had to design. So I was very impressed. Do you all have any questions for them?
I learned a lot. Thank you.
Yes.
Very.
How did they do their research?
How did you all do your research? Searched it up on Google, and then you had to decide which.
And what did you have?
We had guided research. There was a Google document and it had like different things that we had to find specific. So we looked it up and then put it on there. And we had to put it on the.
So they had to have internet access. Did they have it at home or you had to do it at school?
Where did we do?
Okay. Hopefully everybody will have internet access eventually.
Hopefully. All right. Well, thank you guys very much for coming tonight and great job.
Parents, would you please stand and be recognized?
Thank you all again for bringing them out tonight. All right, I'll give that back.
Very good.
The additions to the, don't believe any corrections unless there's someone has seen. Otherwise, is there a motion to approve the additions to the agenda?
So move.
Second. Second. Any questions about it? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Public announcements. November is Family Engagement and Education Month. November the 8th through the 12th is National School Psychology Week. November the 11th is Veterans Day. November the 19th is Substitute Educators Day. November the 24th and the 26th is Thanksgiving holidays and the school division is closed. December the 2nd is the end of the second quarter interim. December the 8th is the second quarter interim reports issued. And December the 13th is the next school board meeting here in the auditorium at St. Clair Walker at 6:30. The floor is open for public comment. Seeing and hearing none, I'll close public comment. Board members, do we have reports? Dr. Shores, anything from Governor's School?
We will have one in about 3 days. We'll meet on Zoom, or if we can make that contact, or we'll contact them by the old method phone.
Okay. So we'll hear from you in December then.
Yep.
Mr. Goforth.
All right, we had a Bridging Communities meeting. It was my last. It was hard to really have been involved with that community, that Bridging Communities project, the Career and Technical Center, since its inception. We started several years ago in the community college then finally got a building in New Kent. Enrollment is holding up. The two new teachers are doing fine. Middlesex Foundation, as I indicated to you all last meeting, has turned over the housing project to Bay Aging. They're waiting on, price of everything seems like it went up. And even though we didn't rebid it, we had to give them an opportunity, the same contractor, to reprice particularly lumber. So that will be completed eventually. State's going to come up with some additional money. I had told the board that I would stay on that committee, even though I will go off as a school board member. But now that it's going to be, done by the Bay Aging, I am going to leave that committee. So a board member will have to be appointed in my place. I am treasurer, so somebody will have to take over the treasurer position as well.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Aaron, anything from WHR?
Yeah, and then they were here at our last meeting, and that was the last time we had a meeting. Nothing since then.
Mr. Reed, anything? The regional SPED board met last week, and everything is going really well. We have, because of a teacher who has had to be out, they have moved 2 students to one of the other facilities. So we, at the high school actually, so we just have 2 locations for that school at this time. But it's all going well. We have fewer students than we have had, I think, since I've been on the board, which is wonderful. But on the finance side of it, we're holding well, no additional charges at this time. So that end of it is good. The students are doing very well. Parents very pleased with all that's going on. So, and we know it's been a difficult transition for so many of these students, but things have gone very well. Very pleased. Okay. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So move.
Is there a second? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. All right, we have a couple of action items here. Dr. Sykes, the budget calendar for 2020.
That is in your packet already, and I would just respond. Actually, before it starts. And just to note that this follows a similar schedule that we've done in the past few years. You'll note that the budget packets have gone out to our senior admin staff last month, and the directors and principals are working on those. They'll be back into us this month, and then you'll see the rest of the schedule has us final budget approval by March is our plan. Any questions about the calendar?
The only, I guess, the joint meeting will be announced when we can arrange it.
Yes, that is correct. And so you'll notice that there are some to be determined dates and times on there. Yes.
Is there a motion to approve the budget calendar for 23?
So move.
Is there a second? Any questions about the calendar? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The 21-22 revision calendar.
So that is a new addition to tonight's packet. As Dr. Bishop and I have been meeting with staff and all of the schools, it took a couple of weeks to do that. We've heard a lot about time being a huge factor of what was needed this year. Looked at our principal building in some early release time, second semester, that allows our staff to stay on campus, but unencumbered time for them to plan or grade or work with their colleagues. And so you'll see that the calendar that is proposed in here adds February 9th, March 9th, and April 27th, which are all Wednesdays as early release days following the second semester of the 21-22.
Is there a motion to approve the recommendation of the amended calendar for those half days?
So move.
Is there a second? Any discussion about the proposed to go with half days? The understanding that those days will only be work days and not professional development. Okay. It will give the staff some extra time each month to prepare. Great. All in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Proposed employee compensation.
Okay, and this is in addition to the agenda also. So as we have looked on our senior executive team at the ESSER grant funds that we've been given, which actually started last year, we still have opportunities to apply for more. In some areas where we had set aside specifically for some learning, that we had not used those. And looking at, as I said, we've been meeting with our teachers and time's a factor, and just the feeling of being stretched in 1,000 different ways as we came back to school this year. We all thought this was going to be more of a normal year because we were open 5 days a week with all of our students back. But there were things that were just unexpected, and we've stretched our staff pretty thin, and just asked them to be flexible and give us extra time and extra energy. And we, like I said, have looked at where we were spending our grant money, which comes from the federal government. There's nothing, no local ties to that, and feel it is in the best interest of our division to reward or incentivize our staff who have continued to be a part of Middlesex County Public Schools with an incentive to be paid to them in December for $1,000 per employee for the work that they've said, like I said, that they have completed and continue to do with us because of the pandemic. Hasn't been a normal year, and again, it's no local funds involved in that. We've not moved anything around in order to be able to ask for that to be awarded, because it was funds that we had set aside for some specific things that we just did not have to use it for. And so there's, like I said, a recommendation for that incentive for all, and that's all of our employees.
Is there a motion to grant this incentive compensation? Your second?
Second.
Any comments or questions? I know this is something that we've talked about now for several months, and I'm very happy to know that we have been able to find the funds to provide for our staff who have all gone beyond what anyone ever imagined, in the classroom or in the administrative department, or bus drivers, food staff. I mean, it has been just remarkable, as everyone knows. There are really no words to describe what has gone on the last year and a half. And so I hope that this will be appreciated as much as we appreciate everyone's efforts. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That's unanimous, Ms. Jordan. Okay. Did I skip something or did they vote?
This is the next one.
Okay,
Yes.
I didn't skip.
You did not skip. No, you were on track. And so the next thing I bring to you as a proposal for you to take action on is another incentive type program. So one of the other things that's been made the work of those who are here a little more difficult is our inability to hire, probably across the board, whether it's bus drivers, paraprofessionals, teachers, all of that. We have faced a year that we have not seen before. Even though I'm new in this role, I've been here for 20 years, and never have we opened the elementary school down for teachers that we couldn't hire. And so all of our traditional methods of hiring, we've been successful in some ways, but still not enough to to hire what we needed. And so with our new HR specialist coming on, she's bringing some new recruitment ideas to us. And one of those is an employee referral incentive program. And I've said all along that our best way of recruiting is word of mouth. And so we want to be able to compensate our staff who have those positive conversations about Middlesex, and in order to try to get more staff to come here and see what it's like to be a part of our team. And so for any person who applies and is hired and then works for us for at least 30 days, if there is an employee, no matter what that employee's role is in our division, who has encouraged them or recruited them, the employee who has recruited will earn a $500 incentive for helping us recruit and hire new staff. So we're hoping this will help bring some more folks to our division that are needed in our classrooms and buses and just across the entire division.
Could you repeat that again as far as their position, so that no one thinks that their position is any lower or any higher than anyone else?
Sure.
So
So
that they understand.
absolutely. It doesn't matter what the current employee's position is or the position that they recruit for. And so even if we have someone who is one of our considered part-time because they don't maybe necessarily qualify for all of the benefits, and they have recruited for another similar position or a teaching position, and that person is hired and is here for at least 30 days, the employee who recruited someone can earn the $500. And I would say that's not just a one-time thing. If you've got friends that maybe you're a bus driver and you know someone else who would like to be a bus driver, or you know someone who would like to be on our teaching staff, and spread that word and give them information to bring them here, then they would qualify for as many times as we had new people hired. And that's for any of our employees.
All right, is there a motion to approve the employee referral incentive program?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions for Dr. Sykes? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
All right.
Any opposed? All right. That concludes our the bulk of our action items. Now we are at our information items. Winter sports schedule, hard to believe we're winter sports, but we are.
We are at winter sports, and tryouts started today. So you'll see in your packet, we've got schedules for boys and girls basketball, JV and varsity, wrestling, scholastic bowl. We are also working on continuing to have a swim team for Middlesex High School, just looking at the varsity level there, but you don't see a schedule in there necessarily, but we are have students interested in that and coaches. And so we will follow the same mitigation strategies as the fall sports have in place. And so if a student is not in play, for example, for basketball, and they're on the bench, then they would be wearing a mask, but during play, masks would not be required, but certainly optional. Masks required for spectators when we're inside of a building, because we're still under a public health order for that. And all of our divisions are participating in all of these sports for winter. So winter sports are back. No, not limits.
All right. Mr. Harris.
So I'll be very brief. I submitted our school's entries into our capital improvement plan for the county. Obviously, we took some projects off because we were able to do those projects using ESSER funds and so forth. So I just wanted to show you, just running through quickly the projects. A lot of you are aware of most of these projects, and some have been staying on to the capital improvement plan from the previous year. This one you're aware of, electric school bus purchase. The two electric buses that we got the grant for, the Department of Environmental Quality. Again, again, we were supposed to come up with the amount. It's a reimbursement program. You know, we take everything out of the way, we'll be getting 2 buses for $191,000, which is cheaper than 2 diesel buses. So, you know, it's a great opportunity, but we do have to put the bill for that. Next project
Do we
is.
know arrival of this?
Well, so, yeah, this would be a fiscal year 2022,
Okay,
to where, you know, we couldn't pay for those until July 1.
okay.
And I know we're working on those contract negotiations, to make sure everything's cleaned up and make sure. It works out well for us. So it would be in the summer here.
Okay.
Middlesex Elementary School roof restoration, you know, this has been on there. I took it off last year, but now I've met with the roofing contractor just to look at this at the date number. But it's not the end all be all. I've bumped it back a year. Really so is because the warranty on the roof now is 20 years. It's EPDM rubber roof that does have to be, you know, tended to from time to time. And the way to do it is to restore it, not to replace it. For a full restoration would be $800,000, but the same company who came in, you can go to the next slide, Steve. They did infrared scanning on the roof. Specifically, I'm just showing the elementary school right now where they showed where we have moisture intrusion. So they've identified the exact location. The restoration would take care of the whole roof, or they've also given a proposal to just go to each of those identified areas and take care of those, which is to the tune of maybe 10 grand. So, you know, we have some options there, but for the benefit of the capital improvement plan, just, you know, getting the whole thing restored after that 20 years, that's why I moved forward with that project. Middlesex High School renovation, this has been on there for quite some time. We did make some forward progress last year with this, or the most recent budget with the county saying that they would move forward with our master plan. Now that to be determined cost is because that's what the master plan leads us to. I know Dr. Seitz is going to speak more in depth with that. But to put a figure out there wouldn't be fair to that process. Because if we go too low, you know, we'll never get what the master plan shows us that we need. If we go too high, we may lose momentum. So I'll be able to update that number when the master plan process is finished for the duration of the school year. Again, it's stuff that Dr. Seitz is going to inform me about, but it's, you know, the steps to their, what most of the architects did as early as, you know, next month. All right. Paving, seal coating, and painting of our parking lots at St. Clair Walker and Middlesex Elementary School in desperate need of some seal coating and some parking lot lines. They're pretty much gone. Also, the gravel lots here at St. Clair Walker, we've been rallying for some time. If you can go to the next, is the yellow areas on the map to the right are still gravel from when the school was constructed in '97. We'd like to bring pavement in there, especially now with the bus loop where our charging stations are for electric buses. When we do get the freeze, it's hard to, it can become dangerous for the bus drivers, and it's hard to treat those areas. But that's a lot of traffic that goes through that left right there, and those buses will tear that up. So an overflow parking lot. This is a new addition for Middlesex Elementary School, mainly stemming from the increase in car rides we have and the spill out of Philpott Road. The site plans in 2002 have a parking lot, well, a proposed future parking lot, which I'll show you. But I reached out to Bay Design Group and they gave me that figure of $380,000 based on how much it costs for a spot. So that's what you're looking at. If you know, just to the right of the main entrance, that was this was taken from the original site plan in 2002. So the space is there, the site is there, but then it would allow us to get a little more creative with routing for parent pickups in the afternoon as they frequently spill out of Philpott Road. They think that the last one is LED lighting upgrades for this school and the elementary school. As you can see, the high school we have bigger plans for, but it's these schools still have great bones that, you know, it's time we start to think about upgrading LED lights for efficiency, you know, and maintenance. You know, a lot of data supports whether it's student learning just the environment they're in and lower maintenance costs and energy costs. And the figure here for fiscal year 22 is $250,000 that would be for one school to follow with another school to follow. So that's what I submitted to the council. Any questions on any of those projects? I know I kind of ran through them real quick.
They all sound good. I'm really excited about the high school.
Yeah, well, I think when that master plan is able to really paint a picture of the potential we have right there, and really personalize that for us.
Thank you.
All right, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
But you want to talk about the master plan?
Yes, I can do that. And so last month, if you remember, you all approved us moving forward to negotiate the agreement for the scope of the work and then the cost of the work for that master plan. And if you remember, we had in our CIP, which is one of the things that Mr. Harris was able to remove, was 75,000 in there for the master plan study. And Mosley was great to work with in getting that right within our budget. And so I won't go through everything that's in here as our tasks, but it'll start with collecting all the existing data and then moving into making sure what they have collected is exactly what it looks like at the high school. There will be a series of meetings with an executive team and then school members, supervisors, community members, organizations, teachers, students, to really help them get their head wrapped around what we're looking for moving forward, because we're not just looking for an upgrade that we could do in a couple of years and what Middlesex High School would look like, but looking ahead to the next 50 years and what Middlesex High School needs to look like. And so as Mr. Harris shared, we'll come out of that with a plan of how we should move forward and what that would look like. There'll be some options in that. So this is the start. So we're excited to partner with Mosley to get them working on what Middlesex High School can and will look like. Information on that.
And your timeline?
So this process will take about 6 months.
Okay.
And so just getting the final draft of this in place to sign so that they can take it up on this.
I'll be gone.
You'll still be here at the council, hopefully, so that you are seeing this happen.
I think it's called a stakeholder.
That's exactly right.
Okay.
All right.
Somebody the other day said, Jim, you're rounding third and heading home, aren't you?
Dr. Bishop.
All right, well, given the incentive and also the half days that are embedded in the calendar now, I think teachers will appreciate that. Just kind of reflect on the work that they're doing, the things that they're implementing. Still looking at their math, they had a virtual night for parents for math manipulatives at the elementary school. At St. Clair Walker and at the elementary school, they're looking at the standards. There's a great site where they're looking at the bridging of math and looking at formative assessments that align with that. So they're really diving deep into what the students need. And then at the division level with math, we have a program called DESMA. It's free, but there's also curriculum that's built in there. So they're working hard to implement that. So that's kind of a math picture in general. Middlesex. And then just taking a look at the reading picture as well. And all teachers are involved with this. We have 17 teachers in the letters training, which is about, it's literally a master's class where these teachers are taking the time to learn about how to teach reading better. Looking at the chronological and the phonics. That's aligned with new programs that they're putting in, being a reader, and Spire, which is for special ed students, and then SIPS, which is phonics and stuff, targeted students. And then at St. Clair Walker with classroom libraries that we purchased through ESSER funds, so every English teacher has a full classroom library. And finally, at the high school, we're doing performance-based assessment, so they're starting to gather those. That writing in the classroom from 9th, 10th, 11th grade, so that they're gonna be scored not on SOL, but actually a collection of work. So, the teachers are working really hard, implementing new programs, really looking at the student data and looking at each individual child to make sure they're getting what they want when they need it. So I'm very proud of our staff.
Thank you. All right, any questions for Dr. Bishop? The floor is now open for public comment. Ms. Murray, can you put that one down? Yeah, put that one down.
It's just a quick question.
Okay.
Mr. Harris.
Yes, sir.
For the roof restoration.
Yes, sir.
renovation, has the vendor provided us with any warranty guarantees?
So you're talking for the roof restoration? Comes with a 20-year warranty.
1 year warranty?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Anyone else? Hearing none, the public comment period is closed. Dr. Seitz, anything else for us tonight?
Just a couple of things I'll update you on. And one is that I feel like I'm always talking about grant opportunities that we've applied for, but we've had good luck with those. The coronavirus state and local fiscal recovery fund, I just mentioned that we were able to take advantage of that. And that is to support HVAC renovation or replacement. Remembering that was another thing that came out of our CIP was that the HVAC replacement at the elementary school. We were able to take advantage of this grant and receive an additional $216,000 that we can turn back to the county because the county funded that in our CIP. So we're excited to bring some money back to turn back to the county for that. And the other thing I wanted to update you on is we have scheduled our first student vaccine clinic for children ages 5 to 11. And I just sent a message out, I think about an hour before this meeting started, with the health department. That will be Monday, November 15th. And we're starting with an after school time from 4 to 6 where parents can register and bring their children in if they would like to take advantage of that. And then 3 weeks later, we will have our second clinic. And so our health department, Three Rivers, has been great to work with in keeping us up to date on things. And as soon as they had vaccines for clinics, they've worked with us to get those into our buildings if we're able to open them for that. And so I just wanted to give an update on where we were with that. And that's all I have for this evening.
That's great that you can offer that on site. Great. Is there any old business to come before the group? Any new business? Is there a motion to adjourn? No second? Second. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Any opposed?